I want everybody to see you for what you are. The best kept secret in the
Big Ten.
You are the man. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go. Let's walk. My name is
ML Elric.
I'm a sports agent. You could say I'm at the top of my game, but something just isn't right.
ML Elric.
What can I do for you?
Show me the money.
Show me the money!
Can you sign my card?
Sorry, little fella. I can't sign this brand of card. Only Pro Jam Blue Dot cards.
And lately, it's getting worse.
Came here to let you go.
Pardon me?
I came here to fire you.
You asked interrogative questions around my face. It's gone.
What are you doing?
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Al?
Hey kids, it's your old pal ML Elric, having failed as a podcaster with an uncertain future in politics. We just provide you a preview of what's next for me, sports agency. And today you will meet what may be my first client, but is certainly the first name, image, and likeness sponsored athlete by a podcast here on the Red Shovel Network. Perhaps the first one sponsored by a podcast anywhere in the known universe. And any moment you will meet our esteemed athlete. In the meantime, we have kind of our regular low-rent crowd here, Mr. Mark Fellhauer.
Yeah, boy, I'm already screwing up.
He of the Hard Out on the intro. Sean Windsor, he of the mouthful of bacon brisket burger.
On an onion roll.
On an onion roll.
Cooked perfectly, by the way, by somebody that's going to be with us shortly.
Mr. Dave Hubbard is rejoining us to make an appeal. He would like to sponsor an employee, and he may join some of our negotiations as we try and cut a reasonable deal with our athlete. We're also going to dive into the floodwaters, and it's been said that the media contributes nothing to society. It's been said that there's only one reporter working in Detroit. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are many reporters working in Detroit, and we have one who will be joining us any minute from the Detroit News with some revelatory releases about the release of the floodwater and why some of it didn't go where it should have and why a lot of it ended up in my basement and that of people throughout the metro area.
Quick question for you. Did you have a problem this past weekend with the storms? Because I was thinking about you as it was going on.
Not Saturday, but the previous Friday, we did have some more flooding in the basement.
Oh, my God.
We got a few more inches. It was not cataclysmic, but it was the psychic damage caused by once again being violated was pretty significant. Yeah. And we had people. I know someone who had just cleaned her basement, had lost a deep freezer, a fridge, a washer, a dryer. The water went all the way almost up to the ceiling. They had it all cleaned out. They had everything patched up. They're selling their house, and they got a massive flood a couple Fridays ago, and they had to do it all over again. So they can't even show the house to prospective purchasers. So that was a staggering blow, and we had our drywall cut out, and we were starting to replace it, and we're thinking, well, maybe we shouldn't replace it because we may have to replace it again, and it's all out of pocket, so you definitely don't want to do that more than once. And let's see, we also are going to talk, I think, a little bit later in the show about a crazy campaign thing that happened to me on Sunday that if I hadn't been there myself and someone told me this was going to happen, I wouldn't have believed them.
Wait. We're going to talk about you.
That was a good tease, though. I'm intrigued.
First, we're going to talk about Roy O'Brien.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm intrigued again.
Dealership that's been serving people on the east side and throughout southeastern Michigan since 1975. And probably people come from far and wide to get good deals on the Ford. Now, my mom just came from the east side to what we would call the far east side there in St. Clair Shores to buy her red Ford Focus wagon, which is still going strong. I know because we borrow it regularly because one of my shitbox cars broke down again this week. But my mom is not alone. Roy O'Brien's been taking care of customers for 3/4 of a century. If you want to find out more about the deals in store, you go to royobrien.com. That's ROYOBRIEN.com. Check out Fast Track, which lets you choose your vehicle and options. You can pick your deal, whether you want to lease it, finance it, or if you're a high roller, pay cash. You can get the value of your trade-in, which, by the way, used cars are going through the roof. Susan Tompor of the Free Press had a great column about how much used cars with over 100,000 miles are going for. You'd be surprised how much what people used to consider a car for a high school kid is now going for because used vehicles are so hard to find. And if you get your deal, you can apply for financing to help pay for it, and you can schedule delivery of your ride. So if you want to know more, go to royobrien.com or call them at 888-566-5851. That's 888-566-5851. And when you call them, tell them that ML's mother's son told you to call.
Yeah.
There you go. So if we have Beth LeBlanc on the line from the Detroit News, we will very soon find out whether it's actually Beth LeBlanc, which I think is how Woody Woodruff would pronounce it after his quick French lesson for us on last week's show, which I thought that was a great guest. I thought Woody was cool.
Is that because you got him?
No. He said, I want to come in when Sean is there. And I said, Sean's here every week. And he said,
He said what?
He said, oh. He thought that was like a special thing. He's like, you're getting the big hitters in here. Woody Woodruff, Sean Windsor. And I said, well, we get Sean every week. And he said, oh, I thought Sean was more in demand than that.
I'm more of a wiffle ball hitter.
Yeah, but those are hard to hit. You get a lot of movement,
Yeah,
and
but
jump a
I
lot.
dribble it up the third base line, rolls foul.
We are going to
a lot of energy today out of you, Sean.
We are going to get you.
That's because I'm in a coma after this incredible burger.
Beth is on the line.
Oh, Beth. Hey, Beth, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having me today.
Since last week, we spent part of our show virtually in France. I have to ask you, is it Beth LeBlanc or Beth LeBlanc?
It's Beth LeBlanc.
Any relation to the guy from Friends?
Not that I know of. It's a common question, though.
Ah,
really? Yeah, thank you, Mike.
How common of you, ML.
Well, I will tell you, Beth is way smarter than Joey because she came up with an outstanding report in the Detroit News. We encourage you to subscribe, debtnews.com. You have to be a subscriber to see this story. It's worth, I think it's 99 cents a month for 3 months, some paltry sum to support reporting. Like Beth's story that said when the rains hit, key Detroit pump station had been out of power for days. Here's why. This is the kind of journalism that we expect and that we deserve. You may remember when the pumps went down, and I know because I called the water department and talked to them the day of the flooding, and they said, well, a pump was down before the rain came, but it's just one, and we don't really think it affected anything. And a couple of days later, I was told, well, one of the pumps was down for 45 minutes, but it didn't really affect anything. And then later that day, a different official went on TV and said, well, one of the pumps was down for 2 hours, but we're not really sure how much it affected. Well, now Beth reports that these pumps were out days before the storm hit, that it was 5 of 8 pump stations that were out, and that the city, the power company, and the Great Lakes Water Authority should have, I don't want to put words in your mouth here, Beth, but when I'm reading the story, the only thing I take away from this is someone should have known there was a problem, and when it rained, there sure as hell was a problem. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people are denying that they knew about it in time to fix it in that sense, and a lot of them are deferring comment altogether because they say an independent investigation will take care of that and kind of figure out what went wrong that day. But yeah, essentially, Sue McCormick, the CEO for Great Lakes Water Authority, came out in early July and said, we found out the morning of June 25th that there was a power outage affecting the Frood pump station, and that took out 5 of 8 pumps, and it wasn't fixed before the rains hit that night. But what we've heard from DTE is that actually the outage happened June 23rd, and then there was a lot of back and forth about who actually controls the electricity to Frood. Mm-hmm. And DTE is saying it's the Detroit Public Lighting Department. Detroit is not commenting. GLWA initially said it was DPLD that controls it. Then they said, well, we pay our electricity bills to DTE, so it would make sense that they control it. So there's a lot of back and forth there and still some confusion remaining. But what we know nearly for sure is that June 23rd was when the power outage happened. And GLWA didn't find out about it apparently until 2 days later, right before the rain hit.
Yeah, there's a lot of finger pointing about who controls the power, but doesn't GLWA, aren't they the ones that oversee that station? So it really ultimately falls on them to realize that there's no power before a storm that everybody knew was going to be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, DTE told us that actually GLWA did realize it on June 23rd and told the Detroit Public Lighting Department that there was an issue. But GLWA maintains they were not told until June 25th, and then DTE kind of pulled back that statement and said, well, we'll just defer to GLWA about what they knew and when.
And one thing people should understand, for years, everybody in southeastern Michigan hated the Detroit Water and Sewage Department because they blamed Detroit for increases in their water bill when truly most of those increases were imposed by the local suburbs, because the way Detroit worked was it treated water, it prepared water, and it sold water to the suburbs at a wholesale price. It could not, by law, make money on the sale of water. And now, after the bankruptcy, there was this Great Lakes Water Authority created so that all of the equipment that was part of the Detroit Water and Sewage Department then was transferred to this regional authority, which now sells water wholesale to each of the municipal water departments. So now everybody hates GLWA in the same way they hated DWSD, because they're the ones who are responsible for the equipment that doesn't always work or doesn't often work. And there was a line near the end of Beth's story which really blew my mind, talking about some flooding back in 2016. Yep. It said only 6 pumps were operational when 14 of 16 pumps were needed. So they had enough pumps, but there's only a fraction of these pumps working. So this is a historic problem. This is something that's been going on for years. They were aware of it. Beth dug up some great stuff talking about studies, saying this facility is inadequate, you need to make improvements, you need to do work. And what we're hearing, and I still don't think we quite know the full picture because, as Beth says, people's stories are changing, is that there was a significant failure of the pumps and that the generators didn't cover all the pumps. They only backed up some of the pumps. And this is an old system, so we're going to forgive them that. But boy, oh boy, how do you not provide backup power to all of the generators, or generators for all the pumps, in an area that floods more than anybody else? It just is unconscionable.
And Beth, you pointed out in the story, I think that's where you were talking about, ML, that they were rated poor a few years ago, the pumps and the pumping stations. Why haven't they been fixed, Beth?
Well, I mean, so GLWA says that they've invested about $10 million in the past several years to these 2 specific pump stations, right? Connor Creek and Frood, which basically bail out like East Side Detroit and Grosse Pointe Park and everything like that. They said we've invested about $10 million, but it sounds like that falls pretty short of what was needed because they have a plan to invest about $250 million that they're in the design phase of right now. But that plan is going to take like 8 years to construct. So, I mean, considering the frequency of rain events over the past several years, I think, we can conclude that Detroit's going to be in for a few more storms before these improvements are made. The other thing too is like some of these pumps worked. It was just that the electricity was out in the case of Frood, and in that case, that too is. It sounds like Frood is operating on an old Detroit Public Lighting Department electrical grid, and hasn't been moved over to DTE. It's one of the last ones of all of the public electricity units that are moving over to DTE. So there's a lot of different things going on, and I, the residents that we talked to said, we've been told millions have been invested in this. Why isn't it working?
Mm-hmm. I know people who have flooded 5 times, and not just like there's water in my basement, like my washing machine is floating. And so you've got to have backup. I want to read one paragraph that really struck out at me. The Frood pump station, that's Freud to you outside of Detroit, we call it Frood, has 3 transformers carrying up to 3 pumps each. 3 transformers with 3 pumps each. One transformer is served by the Porter substation, while the other 2 are served by the Ludden substation. The Frood pump station had generators, but they only served the pumps connected to the Porter substation. So let me translate that.
Yeah, no idea what that means.
There was no generator for 2/3 of the pumps, which means you're relying on all these pumps because it keeps flooding, so you know the pumps have got to be working to help abate the flooding. And you had no backup power for 2/3 of the pumps. That's completely and utterly unacceptable. I don't know how much they spent. I don't know where they spent it. But if you do not provide backup power to operate the pumps when you have an old system, that is a dereliction of duty that is inexcusable, that is inexplicable. And I wish someone would explain it to Beth, because they have yet to give us a good explanation for why they think this is acceptable.
Yeah, or did they have an excuse as to why, Beth?
No, I mean, honestly, in our communication with the Great Lakes Water Authority, they essentially, I think for a lot of the parties in this, there's a threat of lawsuits hanging over their heads. You know, there's already been one filed by the Grosse Pointe Park residents. There's a class action one, I think, in Detroit that's been filed. So they were pretty tight-lipped about what happened. They kept deferring to comments that were made at the beginning of the month, which now don't always make sense, knowing the kind of progression of events. So in terms of the generators, I mean, I think that's what McCormick said earlier this month, and they haven't clarified since then about why there weren't generators for the Ludden Station pumps. And, you know, considering that Ludden Station is still operated by the Detroit Public Lighting Department, which is operating on a really old system, it seems like those would have been the pumps you wanted to back up.
Yeah, and I'm not here to say what happened or why things went wrong. Just systemically, there were no generators to provide backup power to 2/3 of the pumps in a very old system. That, to me, feels like a disaster waiting to happen. That, to me, feels like hoping against hope that shit isn't going to go wrong. And let me just tell you, as someone who lives in this area, the only thing you can count on is shit is going to go wrong.
Well, but this isn't a new problem there. 2011, 2014, 2018, I think 2016, there were problems. And what I thought, you know, the first paragraph of the story is really interesting, because that's the whole thing where, look, they were without power 2 days before. Who knew what when? Is it not normal procedure to maybe check these pumping stations out if they know a big storm's coming? Do other cities do that? Is that not a normal procedure, Beth?
I did not consult other cities on this. That's a good idea to do that. But I know, so the way the Great Lakes Water Authority explained it is that they were informed Friday morning by a crew that was out to fix what was wrong with Frood Station. At first they said the crew was Detroit Public Lighting Department. Then later on they said, actually, we're not quite sure where that crew is from. But they were told that there was an issue there. They didn't find out until later that night that it wasn't going to be fixed ahead of the rain. So I think most of Friday they were operating under the belief that it would get fixed before the rain hit. And the extent of their knowledge of the electrical outage, 2 days prior, when it happened on June 23rd, I think that's, it appears that's still a subject of debate at this point. So
let me tell you something that should scare everybody who can hear the sound of my voice. The local folks are GLEWA. They own the system. Mm-hmm. Most municipalities do not have their own water system, which means GLEWA should have been checking on these stations. They should be checking on the ones in your town. They should be checking on the ones in my town. And if they can't stay on top of it, everyone who is served by this system, which used to be owned by Detroit Water and Sewerage Department, but now, because of the bankruptcy, is owned by the Great Lakes Water Authority, or it may be an outgrowth of the bankruptcy. There may have been some state legislation involved. But here's the deal. If they didn't take care of their business on my side of town, there's a chance they're not taking care of their business on your side of town. So you should be very, very concerned about that. If you want to get involved and help put a little pressure on these folks, I have a petition at change.org. It says Detroit flooding. Just do a search for Detroit flooding, and you can sign on to that because we are coming up with some alternatives that will make us less reliant on the system, some green alternatives to make sure that we keep the water out of the system so that if the shit don't work, the water doesn't end up, and some of the shit doesn't end up because sewage did get in people's backyards, that doesn't end up in our basement. So, Beth, thank you very much for staying on these folks. I know from experience that when you have people giving you conflicting explanations, it's very frustrating to try and make sense of it. But this is an outstanding article. It lays it all out. You can read for yourself who's saying what when. You can draw your own conclusions. But I would say if we're going to make a judgment now, I wouldn't make a judgment so much on what happened and why it happened. My judgment would be they should have known something was going to happen because this system, it's failed before. They should have expected to fail again, and it sure as hell did, and they weren't ready. So, Beth, I hope you're going to stay on this story. I trust that you are, and we will try and keep folks up to speed on your latest work.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
And tell Craig Mulgrew I said hi. That guy's a lot of
I
trouble.
I will.
Okay, thanks. That's Beth LeBlanc of the Detroit News. You can read her work at detnews.com. You should subscribe so she can do more work because nobody else is doing this stuff.
Nice to know these agencies have the finger pointing down, though, as to who's at fault here. Who's to blame.
God, yeah. A contractor cut the line. The
joke,
contractor
man.
says, I told you right away. They said they took 2 days to tell us. I mean...
And now every time it storms, everyone's going to start sweating that their basement's going to flood again. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's
no,
bullshit.
If somebody had said, hey, this is the Mojave Desert, some of the pumps don't have backup generators, so we might not be able to deal with the flood, I'd say, yeah, we'll get to that whenever. Like, never, I don't care. But this is an area that is prone to flood. It's some of the lowest lying land in Detroit. And, okay, next topic.
How about making money and investing?
Oh.
Overreaction is not the best strategy for the long-term investor.
No, not at all.
No. So call our buddy Luke Nowacki, Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748 for rational financial advice. He'll tell you where to put your money, stocks, bonds, 401ks, 529s, all that fun stuff. Nobody knows what to do with their money. So get advice, get a strategy. Call Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth because...
Think of Luke as the backup generator to your personal pump. Because Luke will make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates Inc.
Okay, let's jump in to a debate that I lost.
Oh, what? You lost something? You don't ever lose a debate.
First one ever. Well, I conceded. And Sean's going to say, he finally admitted he's conceded. No, I conceded, not conceited. It's a very subtle difference there. And we have decided to sponsor an athlete. And after a nationwide search, we screened athletes.
A nationwide search that, of course, started in East Lansing.
Started in Lake Orion.
Oh, did it?
One of the most talented high school journalists I've ever met, who is now an outstanding Spartan. You know, it would have been so easy for us to sponsor any of those quarterbacks that are eventually going to transfer from the University of Michigan. It would have been.
I think it'd be expensive.
I thought it was a joke about all the quarterbacks leave. We could have sponsored Harbaugh because I understand he had a serious cut and pay, but instead, and
he's allowed to be paid.
I have this damn U of M thing over my shoulder that I can't. People always.
I know it really bothers
about,
you. A little sensitive there.
It's like having a devil on your shoulder. So we have chosen Kalina Neese to be our sponsored athlete. So Kalina, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about what you do, because again, our research department identified you, and I don't have their report in front of me, but it was elegantly written. But I think it's probably better to hear from you yourself about your endeavor, how you got involved in it, and what you do.
So I'm a rower at Michigan State. I started by doing CrossFit actually in high school, and there's a lot of rowing on rowing machines, and all of a sudden some coaches from Wisconsin-Madison actually reached out to me, and they're like, hey, come on down, like we want to see you row. So I went out there for a week, learned how to row with them, and at the end of the week I was like, hey, like where can I keep rowing? And they just looked at me and said, you can walk on any D1 team you want.
Oh,
so I
really?
just kept with it. And I started rowing at home, going to the gyms, reaching out to coaches. And that's when I heard from Michigan State. And they gave me an offer. And obviously, it's the best school in the world.
Well,
so where else would I go?
You should have said to Wisconsin, well, why don't you offer me a scholarship? I'll keep rowing with you guys.
Well, I loved Madison, but Michigan State's my home. My mom went there. My whole family goes there. I've been going there my whole life. Michigan State's definitely where I need to be.
And were you also a volleyball player in high school?
Yes, I did play volleyball for probably 6-7 years, but then I'm too short. I'm not tall enough to play volleyball, Division I could have tried my hardest, but best I could have placed at like a D3, D2 school.
Couldn't have been a setter or anything? No.
No. I mean, I could have switched to DS, but my whole life, I was 5'7" when I was in 6th grade.
Okay.
So I was playing middle blocker, outside hitter, but then once I got to high school, I was still 5'7", so I couldn't play those positions anymore, so I'd have to relearn my whole sport, and eventually it just wasn't worth it anymore.
So they still talk about my net play in the Chicago Sport and Social League recreational co-ed volleyball league. But, did that come up when you were in Wisconsin?
I don't think so, but
okay. Did they mention at all my the way I quarterbacked a ragtag group of young men and women
not. Why would they?
The second round of the playoffs in the Chicago Sport and Social League touch football league? No.
No.
So what is the NIL?
I'm not sure you were really out there because I think that would have been one of the first things they mentioned.
Well, nah.
Well, we're sticking with you anyway, so
we're allowed to sponsor. I mean, college athletes for a long time couldn't get money for anything, and now there's the whole new name, image, and likeness. How is Michigan State handling that process? Because we did, this is legit. We are giving you something. I'm assuming you had to run it by the athletic department or coach or.
So I just told my coach, I was like, hey, I was offered a chance to go be on this podcast, and they sent me through compliance, and I just had to let compliance know. And we use this app, and we've been using it for years, but it was how we got pictures of ourselves that they took at different regattas. It's how we track our followers on Instagram, Twitter, just kind of.
All athletes use it?
Yep, it's called Influencer, and it's just a thing. So the NCAA.
Wow, we didn't see it leading to this when we called it Influencer. What the hell?
NCAA? This is an NCAA app?
Yeah, so
that's interesting.
It's just so everyone can, our coaches, whoever can track our social media, make sure we're posting things that are appropriate. We're still faces of the university. We still need to have a good social media presence. And so we log everything through the app so the NCAA can track it, our school can track it. It's just one place so everyone can see everything.
And now other athletes up there. Is NIL just exploding? Are people getting offers? Are the big,
I know a lot of people are doing Cameo because Cameo is really easy. You just post yourself out there and people will pay you to make videos of yourself doing whatever. But I haven't heard too much about it yet just because it's so new. That no one's really doing much.
If we're able to negotiate a fair deal here, can you promise us that you won't accept money to play video games with dorks?
Oh, I don't even know how to play video games unless it's
Why
Mario
does that
Kart.
This is why the research department like to cut her jib right away. Not just because she knows what a jib is, because she's been in a regatta.
Why does that bother you so much?
If I was a D1 athlete on a scholarship, I would be having so much fun being an athlete and being a student and hanging out with my pals that I would not want to play video games with some goober.
Dude, how old are you? I mean, we played video games with our pals. That's how we hung out.
With your pals, not with some dork from Henderson, Nevada, who met you online and wants to play Grand Theft Auto or Farmville. Or
I didn't want to go down this road because
they play with their iPads.
You don't get it, old man.
And crack cocaine, whatever. I don't.
In all fairness, we all make friends on the internet now.
Ah, interesting.
Okay, the research department left that out of my report. Maybe it's on the. It's printed on two sides.
Especially with COVID, how was I supposed to go out and make friends?
Yeah,
ML. You gotta go out on Instagram, follow people, send some DMs, make friends. That's how I made friends last year, living on campus with only athletes. No one else was there.
But they're real friends. You're not being paid to
you don't know that. They could be their friends.
Sean, save me. Sean, this is where
I love it. Keep going
upon
at
the
him,
voice
Kalina.
of reason. No, Sean's.
I don't really.
Sean's happy to see me struggle. He's like, never save a drowning man.
I don't know what to say. I was just thinking. I think
glug,
I had
glug.
I think I had a decent buffet in Henderson, Nevada one time. That's
of course. We know how your mind works.
So it's all about food with Sean.
Not necessarily.
It's all about my historical athletic prowess.
I don't know why, because you have kids that are old enough to play video games that are my kids' age, more or less, right? Your 2 daughters and my 2 sons are similar age. My
I was thinking
sons,
they could marry and would make a great sitcom.
Yeah, that would be great. Kalina will tell you, video games are used to socialize as much as anything else.
I don't have a problem.
Yes, you talk, you play with a headphone and a microphone, and you're drinking beers in your place, and you're connected with 5 or 6 of your best pals, and they're doing similar things, and that's just how it is right now.
Now, interestingly enough, though,
I don't want to live virtually anywhere.
It's not living virtually. It's the same as when your mother got on the phone and talked to her sister in Iowa.
Oh, you're right, because I remember my mom getting
had
on
an
the
extra
phone
long
and saying, okay, we're going into the compound. We're going to get Osama. Now watch out. Watch your 6. Here we go. Okay.
What? And had an extra long phone cord so she could stretch it around so she couldn't hear your little
They had
annoying
conversations
voice
about
trying
stuff
to
other than
interrupt
we're gonna
her.
shoot somebody. We're driving a fast car. Look, I'm Vin Diesel.
What is he doing, Mark?
He's trying to
You're
hold.
trying to compare a
that's family.
conversation my mom might have had with a sibling to a couple of dorks pretending that they're.
What do you mean dorks?
Why do you keep saying dorks?
I'm talking about young people and how they connect these
now.
days.
Yeah,
that's how they make friends.
Sorry, they're not as cool as you.
How young dorks connect.
You know what? Where we used to go to the parking lot on a strip mall in the 70s and 80s and hang out and open up the trunk and have a couple of beers, they're doing it virtually.
That was pretty.
It's the
dorky.
same thing, though.
Maybe I'm just against dorks. Is that what it is?
No, it's like Matthew
Everybody
McConaughey,
does.
Dazed and Confused, right? That's how it was for Mark and
not
myself.
real. That was a movie.
That's how I was in Fort Worth in my senior year, almost every weekend. What are you talking
So
about?
you were preying on underage girls?
No, not me.
Well, you just said you were just like that.
Not Matthew McConaughey. Hanging out with your cars. That's what kids don't even want to drive anymore. Do you even have a car?
I do have a car.
Now who's attacking kids?
But you, Kalina, you told us that you wrote an article or a research paper
Yeah.
on NIL, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
weren't
Sorry, back to Kalina.
you weren't totally sold on it.
No,
Are you sold on it yet?
I'm still kind of back and forth on it just because a lot of the people who will be getting paid are those big athletes with the big names who are still going to most likely go pro.
Yeah.
And I'm not even tall enough to go to the Olympics. I can be as fast as those girls on the Olympic team, but I'm not 5'9". So I'm never going to be able to go at a higher level.
But even at the pro level, the athletes with the biggest influence, the best players, get the most endorsements.
Yeah, and that's basically just transferring over to college now. And I still think it's important that we get compensation for our jerseys being sold, us like being in video games, me being here on this podcast.
Sure.
But I don't think salary should not be a thing. They should never be getting a salary. Our scholarships are salary. And if they're getting more money, they should give out more scholarships. There's so many teams that only get like 4 full rides and no one else is on scholarship.
Well, the NCAA, it's easy for them to accept NIL because it's not money coming out of their pocket. It's money coming from the free market flowing into these people.
Like the Soul of Detroit.
But make no mistake.
Sadly, there's very little money flowing into the Soul of Detroit, which is something I will be bringing to bear when Kalina tries to hold us up for a ransom for her endorsement deal.
But our athletes at Michigan State, are they actively trying to find endorsements, or is it coming to them outside of Cameo?
I feel like a lot of them will go out of their way to find ways. I've seen on social media people like going out to find like just like I think there's a football player, I forget from what school, but he's sponsored by College Hunks Moving, and he just wears like their jersey or whatever. And I don't think people are just coming up to them. A lot of people who are getting them right now are family, friends, family sponsoring them. But I don't know. I don't think it's too much of an issue yet. I feel like it'll start becoming an issue when every single athlete out there has a sponsor, and it's just going to be everyone, I need to make money, I need to make money. And I mean, we do. We don't have time to work jobs.
Exactly.
So
to begin the negotiations, we have some fine Soul of Detroit branded products here that we'd like to open the negotiations with by offering you, first of all, one of our lovely Soul of Detroit Room 7609 keychains.
You can counter if you don't want it. You can tell them.
And it says that we guarantee postage if dropped in any mailbox. That actually isn't true, but we'll start you with that. Because of the Delta variant, these were seen as archaic, but it turns out that our special Soul of Detroit masks are back in demand. And for those of you looking for a more fashion-forward option, we also have our Soul of Detroit Gators.
Those are great for working out. We had to wear masks all year and I always wore a gator.
So she's already conceded that's a
Sponsorship's
very
already paying
valuable,
off. Yeah.
very valuable part of our compensation package. Of course, the Matt Jennings approved Soul of Detroit beanie. When you're out there on the lake, you want to stay dry. That's guaranteed.
It's 27 degrees, and we're breaking ice.
And it's 5 in the morning. Yes.
Oh yeah.
With
that has a very low drag coefficient, by the way.
With the compliance office, have they blanketed said, hey, this certain aspect is not allowed? We're not going to allow. I mean, I would assume they don't allow alcohol sponsorships.
Yeah, it's a lot of. It's very fine print. It's all over the place. Like we're not.
It's new. They're making it up as they go.
Gambling,
so that
FanDuel,
means Altus is out.
Yeah,
You cannot accept Altus as part of our compensation package.
No, I don't think so.
Sorry, Carl. I tried.
But we're not allowed to you can't just keep giving us free cars. Like if I were to get a sponsorship through Nike, I couldn't just
no worries of that on
constantly get free Nike stuff all the time. There's just I know Lululemon can't do. I couldn't tell you.
Is this do you know if is this a university thing or is this an NCAA rule?
I believe it's an NCAA rule because I know Lululemon used to do a thing where college athletes could get discounts on their clothes, and then they had to get rid of that because of NIL laws.
So that made the Lululemon yoga pants only $90 a pair as opposed to $110 a pair.
Yeah.
It's fascinating the amount of control they still want to have over it. But you are representing the university. You are getting or some players are getting scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, but
well, I hope as you are out there on the field of valor, on the pool of valor, and you're digging deep for the old you, and you're thinking, I don't have anything left in the tank, but I don't quite have enough to get over the top. You understand that you're representing the soul of Detroit as well, and that helps you with that little boost that you need to become a champion. Is there any chance of that happening?
I'm hoping by my senior year or my junior year that we're gonna be taking home some Big Ten rings, and I don't know. Right now we're struggling a little bit, but we're under new coaching staff. We're still getting. We have a
old
very
coach
young.
is drowned.
Yeah, the old
probably not
coaches
the
are-
right guys to be in a boat.
Yeah, but
over the side.
we have a very young team, and my boat at Big Tens, we finished the highest out of everyone in the Michigan State team, and we were all freshmen.
Okay, so that's promising. But I guess what I'm saying is that inspiration you draw from being affiliated with Michigan State, is it possible that being affiliated with this podcast will provide extra inspiration?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh great, that's what
I know I got ML on my side now.
Then this is probably a good time to increase the value of our offer with one of our fantastic Soul of Detroit short sleeve T-shirts.
wait, what shirt is that? Is that a misprint shirt? Because that doesn't. It's got the blue ML. I've never seen that one before.
I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, no, it's a one of a kind. It's
Wow.
unique.
Yes, so
Thanks.
that's actually extra valuable.
Thanks for the mistake. I
Yeah, thanks for the
appreciate
mistake.
it.
What do you
shirt.
normally have on there?
It's a black. It's black. The ML is black,
Is
isn't
it?
it? Yeah.
I didn't wear it today.
Yeah, I know.
I've worn it every day for a year and a half
Probably
straight.
time for a wash.
I mean, not every day. Every Tuesday I wear it for a year and a half straight. But I'm protesting today, so
You're protesting.
yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Oh my goodness.
Let's keep the focus on.
Well, you can't protest this show because you're going to be hosting it next week with
Maybe not.
with oh boy with special guest host.
I almost
Onita-
texted you and said, "Don't say anything about that publicly," but
Onita Jackson.
Okay.
She's going to be on the show. Well, it is cold out there, so we thought it'd probably be good to have a Soul of Detroit hoodie.
I feel like you're just hawking merchandise as opposed to sponsoring
if-
Kalina.
Did you not hear the
If
interview?
I was doing that, Mark, I'd mention that
With
all
Beth
of this is
LeBlanc?
available at Drew.
Oh,
and
seriously?
Mike's
Did she even speak?
Her work spoke for itself. So there's a hoodie. You don't need to be sponsored. You can get your own at drewandmikestore.com. That's what I would have said if I was just pimping the swag. But
He's just using me as a marketing scheme. It's fine.
Sure, that's fine.
McLeany gets to talk
That's-
a little bit more than Beth did, so I guess
that's why I'm against this NIL. Kids are being taken advantage of by
you.
unscrupulous sponsors.
By you.
Like Sean and Mark, who have bullied me into this.
Oh, we bullied you.
Yeah, it really sounds like it too.
You,
considering
you
you're still
disagreed
holding
with
me
all
down.
of it and then thought of a way to market yourself, and now you're all on board.
Sean, if I was just trying to market myself, I might mention that the ML
Lord.
for Detroit
Is that a chip
campaign-
clip?
Yes, these are only
We know how a
someone
chip
who's
clip
interested in
works.
shameless marketing would
Yeah.
would offer a ML for Detroit City Council chip clip.
What do you use them for, really?
I wouldn't
keep your
do
cars
that.
together.
That's just to make your point, Sean.
I'm gonna go really far in East Lansing with my roommates.
Sean's just bebopping over here. You kind of write him off.
That was a
because
solid one, though.
He's in a post sandwich.
No, it's not that. I didn't get any sleep last night. Or the night before.
Well, sometimes people who come on this show feel like they've sullied themselves. If this turns out to be one of those occasions, might I suggest the ML for Detroit City Council hand sanitizer, which is guaranteed to kill any bacteria or
this is unreal
or bad feelings. These are available at campaign events throughout the East Side. And
well, that's your offer. I mean, what does Kalina have to do for us?
Well, she has as you pointed out when we were diving deeply in this, she has a robust Instagram following. She is an influencer.
Wow.
Well, plug it away. So
yes, let us know.
Well, you can follow me on pretty much anything at Kalenies, KaleeKniess, and you can see me and all my rowing and all the Soul Detroit merch that I'm going to be wearing from now on my Instagram.
What a pro, already a pro at pushing the product.
She was a wizard as a dragon, and now she's a Spartan. So we will get updates, too, on how the season's going.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How is the rowing team doing?
Well, I'm really excited for our new freshman class. We're getting a lot more athletes. I mean, last year, a lot of people just didn't come to school because of COVID. And we've got a bunch of international students. We've got a lot more girls that I think are going to have a lot more power. Our coaches are putting a lot more pressure on us to get better and stronger. And I think the season's going to be so much better than last. Last was just a lot of growing.
When is the season?
Spring.
Spring, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Do you live on campus? Or do you
I live
off
campus in an apartment.
Is there talk about, since you brought up COVID, do you have to be vaccinated to be part of the athletic department, to live on campus? Do you know any of those rules?
I don't know yet. I know we have to, I had to send my vaccination card to my trainer because they have to keep numbers of who's vaccinated and who's not. I'm assuming if we're vaccinated, we don't have to wear masks anymore, and that would be really nice.
For now.
Yeah. The CDC just changed some of those guidelines.
Yeah.
For all you guys who didn't want to get vaccinated or wear masks, great. You didn't get vaccinated. Now we got to wear masks again. Thanks.
But don't shame them. They have their reasons.
Like what?
There's
a microchip that somebody put in their rectum.
I don't think you shaming them is going to help them go get vaccinated, though.
Nothing. When you're not shameable,
you are so negative.
When you're not shameable, me trying to shame you will not work. So, but wait a minute, we've got to put some cash on the table here. We have to make this financially reasonable. But before we actually put some hard lucre on the table, Dave Hubbard is here to sweeten our offer. Altus has been ruled out for now because there may be an issue there. Mm-hmm. But I have a feeling that Kalina will know where to find some beer without our help.
Hey! I'm still underage.
No. I didn't say consume it. Find it, and you can call the cops and say, "Look, there's beer here." Of course. So I remember being at a party with your parents where somebody said, "Look, there's beer here." They all happen to be undercover police, unfortunately, and some hosts spent some time in Ingham County Jail. But Dave, what can you do to? It's a true story. I wrote it front page of the Detroit Free Press. 1989. Look it up. Dave Hubbard is here to offer a sweetener to our compensation package. Dave, as you know, is with the butchery. Dave is also looking to offer some compensation to people who would like to work at the butchery. Dave, take it away.
ML, as you know, my wife and I are both Spartans. We both graduated quite a few years ago. But we wouldn't have been involved in this if you weren't a Spartan, Kalina. So this is. I have a question first, because obviously we deal in beef, quite frankly, or meat.
Yeah.
What kind of diet? What kind of diet are you on? What kind of things do you eat athletically? You know, you're in a different world than the rest of us schlubs sitting in this room. I'll tell you that. So go ahead and tell me that. We'll start there.
When I went to my nutritionist at the beginning of the year, I was dying. I could not get through practice every single day. And so she put me on a 6-meal-a-day diet. So I would eat a snack in the morning, and then
You're going out of business, Dave. This one's going to kill you.
Protein forward?
Yeah, we ate a lot of proteins. They always said to have a colorful plate. We want a lot of carbs, lots of proteins, anything to keep us
Skittles.
sustained for a long time.
So,
no vegetables?
Oh, a lot of vegetables. Broccoli, chicken,
dark
rice,
leaf.
love all that stuff.
How much
chicken is a great vegetable.
What kind of food? What kind of food could we send to you? Like, can you cook? What can you cook? Or
so I have my own apartment, so I have my own full kitchen, and
So how about we send you food either weekly or monthly or something like this? We can give you enough food to get by to make sure that you're eating good food.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
We got high-end prime steaks. We'll send you Amish chicken. We'll send you all natural stuff.
It's marvelous.
We'll make sure that you're flush with good meat. If and only if you stay with ML, because that's my guy. All right?
ML is my guy too.
And you're at our school, so that works.
You show up on that Sean Belizean podcast, it's over.
Oh my gosh, get out of here. That's my guy. Don't mess with my buddy.
No, if you're putting meat on Sean Belizean's table, you'd go out of business for sure. That dude is a protein freak.
Oh yeah, we smoke a lot of meat, Sean and I.
Where's the drum roll? The rim shot there. Yes, well, we're not here to judge, but that's great. So what are you thinking, Dave?
He's a Spartan too.
He's a good man and a big hockey guy. Are you thinking some fine ground beef? Are you thinking some steaks? Are you thinking some of that Wagyu beef?
I'm thinking we're thinking steaks and chicken. We'll do all the class of the stuff that you'll enjoy. That'll get you going. Chicken breast, Amish chicken out of Indiana, so you can cook it up and eat it, right?
All my roommates or my teammates do, so they're gonna be so jealous of me. I've got really good meat.
Yeah, so then then we can tease the other athletes.
Oh yeah, you got to go down and get it. Go get it yourself.
We'll get you some swag too. So every now and again, you can throw a butchery hat on or something. We got all kinds of stuff at our store. We can take care of you as well.
And Dave also has a lot of high-end groceries at very reasonable prices.
Send produce. We'll do the whole shop.
Outstanding selection of beers, which we will not send there because if we send it, Kalina will call DPS and say, "There's beer here. Somebody get this out of here." Or I, as a part of the sponsorship team, I may have to go confiscate it.
Can we just talk about that burger for a second, Dave?
Oh boy!
Tell me, because it was cooked perfectly. It looked rare, between rare and medium rare. How did you get it, first of all, to stay that lovely on the drive down from, where were you coming from?
I'm coming from Silver Lake. Yeah, West Bloomfield. It's the same. Going back to my buddy, Sean Belizean, he and I came up with that burger, actually. We were messing around with things that we could do to throw in the smoker because, we fool around. And so I took fresh bacon, some brisket, and some short ribs, and we kind of ground all that together and form a patty, and then I put them in the smoker for a while so it kind of forms. And because it's raw bacon, you're still going to get some pink in there, but that's cooked fairly much pretty through. But I sear them. You can cast iron sear them first, so you can get a nice texture on the outside, get that variance there.
A little salt?
Yeah, a touch, not a lot. The bacon really sinks through the whole thing.
And then you caramelize the onions and you throw it on a onion roll.
Very simple.
But it's the short rib, to me, that gives
that
it
fat,
that gives it because short rib has such a distinct flavor. It's great.
Yeah, much more.
Anyway, get to the butchery and try this burger. I mean, fine, chicken breast, whatever,
Oh, I knew it was going to come back to me. So, Dave,
but come on.
Before you put this care package together for Kalina and her lucky housemates, you're looking for some work too, and compensating pretty handsomely. How do people join the butchery team and get some cool butchery swag to wear at work and maybe take home the odd boneless, skinless chicken breast that I love so much that Sean...
I didn't say boneless and skinless.
Like everybody else, we're looking for...
that's what I like. You like
sacrilege.
You shouldn't be eating that.
Okay.
We're looking to have a beak in there somewhere.
We're looking for some help, like everybody else. And in the retail world, it's really tough. And we're in an environment where knowledge is key to the service that we provide. So knowing what we do or knowing something about cuts of a cow or a chicken or a pig or something like this, these are all, important factors to how we're able to give good service to the people coming in. We're selling such a high-end product that education is a big part of what we're doing in that sales process. That being said, we get tipped very well, and our customers allow us to pay a little bit more than maybe what our average retailer could pay because their generosity. We kind of pool it, and it raises the average wage across the board for us. We have people that clean the back room. They might clean up after me when I'm cutting in the cut room, if you will, or they might be cleaning pans and stuff like this. They might never see a customer, but I want them to get paid the same as the guy or gal that's up front that interacts with the customers that might receive that tip So we kind of even the playing field as far as everybody's on the same team. So we're somewhere in between $13 and $15, even up to $17, $18 an hour with a little bit of experience. Like anything else, you come in with the ambition to retain a little bit of knowledge and put forth some effort. Show up every day. It's the easiest part. And I'm willing. We'll give you anything you want. Because we're only as valuable. My wife and I are only as valuable as the team we can assemble around us, right? So I can't grow. I can only do so much. I'm only one person. She's only one person. So
that's a great philosophy. Can I just say real quick, Mark and I, a couple of weeks ago, I'm not sure if Mike was here, we were talking about, can we rally behind anything these days as a country? And we came down to food, basically.
War.
Everybody likes tacos. Everybody likes pizza. And so Dave, before the show, we're talking, he made a kind of a joke about it, do we have different views and that sort of thing? And maybe we do. I don't know how different they are. They're not that different enough that we can't sit here and I can enjoy a burger that he's cooked. I would be happy to do the same from something off of my smoker. Don't make a joke, Mike. Come on. Leave that one alone.
Keep going.
But seriously, we can sit here and we can kind of communicate and bond a little bit over something. We're not that damn different, all of us, right? Maybe we don't have to have a spectacular brisket, short rib, bacon burger that's been perfectly seared on a cast iron skillet after it was smoked, but we can do it over a freaking Big Mac.
So here's what I love about this. You're saying that
unless you're a vegetarian, fuck those people.
Yeah.
No, then I'll grill you some broccoli with a little salt and pepper and olive oil, and then toss in a little sriracha and some balsamic or something. The heat, the spicy, the sweet, we'll balance that shit out. We're fine, man. Vegetarians are welcome.
So for those of you who have been paying attention, Sean thinks that we can resolve our beefs with beef, but if I mention that I picked up some boneless chicken breast, say, you shouldn't be eating no bone. You want to bring us together by food, but you're tearing this team apart.
Let me just say, that's not food. So yes, we can get together. We can get together with food. No, I'm kidding. I love a good chicken breast.
Dave, how can somebody apply for one of these jobs?
Brine it a little bit.
Since Sean's just printing up his resume right now, how can anybody else get in there?
You can go to our website, thebutcherysl.com. You could email me at Chef Dave Hubbard Jr. at gmail.com or tbutchery@gmail.com. Either way, you can get to us through the website and ask a question or inquire, and I'll get back to you right away. And like I said, anybody who is willing to come in and try it out, we're willing to show you the way. And again, it's more about learning and working with each other versus, if you don't have experience or something like that, we can definitely bring you along. And it's not just meat. We have produce, we have dairy, we have a lot of local stuff. We're located in Sylvan Lake, Michigan, so we're just north of West Bloomfield, right on Orchard Lake Road. We're closed Monday and Tuesdays, so a lot of partying if you got some young people that just want to work for a few months before they go back to school. I just kid. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 10 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday we're open 9 to 5. Again, that's closed Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday through Friday, 10 to 7, and Saturday and Sunday 9 to 5. And you can call us if you like, 248-682-COWS.
And we may be sending Brandon over there because he's an expert at cutting the cheese.
That's my guy, too. We used to send food over to him and his wife. Great people.
Okay. So get a part. So now, Kalina, we still got to come up with a dollar figure. And I think as a starter, perhaps we could come up with an amount that would more or less cover the occasion when you do find yourself out and about in East Lansing after hours, like going to Conrad's or a place like that. What would you think your monthly Conrad's, Cottage Inn Pizza, Bell's Greek Pizza, Taco Bell bill comes to?
Probably close to, well, it's hard to think about because last year was COVID. I didn't leave
Yes,
ever.
let's base it on a very cheap year. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's bad negotiation.
We want to start from a baseline of...
I'm trying to think. I probably eat out 2 to 3 times a week, which is more than I should be. But
now you're going to be cooking at home.
Yeah, but these aren't $100 meals, right? You're eating you're eating a Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, I love having.
This is chili cheese fries with onions. We used to call that an Elvis with rhinestones.
I feel like we're all negotiating against ML. It's just kind of fun.
By the way, the compensation pool for Kalina comes out of the team compensation pool.
That's all right.
Joe's is over there saying, like, I think she's got enough already.
Well,
you got to pay for that bolt.
Joe's over here smiling. Come on.
Joe is we're sponsoring Joe. It's all under the table.
I didn't recognize Joe with the mask and the haircut.
Are you going to negotiate live? I mean, are
yes.
You
We need to have a figure so we can start to haggle.
Well, you have to throw it out first.
Yeah.
No, I want to know what the ballpark is.
No. You got to throw it out first. You got to tell me where you're starting so I can talk it up.
So I'm thinking as a finely tuned athlete who has a nutritionist there, you're probably eschewing any of the junk food. So I'm thinking you probably spend about $10 a month on chili cheese fries.
Whoa.
Maybe with the Snickers thrown in there, we make it like $10.75.
Have you been to East Lansing lately?
What's your counter?
No, that's.
Have you seen the prices?
Kalina, he's thinking about the cost of his car payment, so forgive him.
Yeah. Okay.
Counter high.
I'm thinking closer to $150,000 a month.
Got to be some happy medium between those two
we're not going to
numbers.
split the difference.
Well, realistically, it's like $20 for cottage and pizza, and then probably another $15 for Conrad's. And then parking is $30 a month for me.
Oh, $65.
And then gas to get here.
Wow. I would think with all that Conrad's, the gas is plentiful. Yeah. How about why
are you having such trouble with this?
Because I want to say $50 a month, but I feel really cheap. So, Mark, would you offer?
Who made these deals?
How about we start at $50 a month, and you bring your receipts in?
Okay, I can bring receipts in.
We will we'll adjust the compensate. Although I don't want to encourage
The
you to
worst,
eat more bad
stupidest
food.
deals I've ever seen.
Okay, but how about every time I promote the podcast? Post on Instagram, tweet out, wear my stuff to practice, go out to a football tailgate with your sweatshirt on.
See?
Wow.
Man, you're way better at this than
I
he is.
I got sucked right in on the flat fee.
I think I got $30 for that, ML. What are you doing over there?
Damn.
I'll pay for your parking if you want to wear some of our swag every now and again.
Of course.
Sean, who wants to pay as much in taxes as humanly possible, do you think our offer is embarrassingly low?
It's low.
It's low. Okay.
I read an article that some athletes are getting paid $100,000 a year, so.
But they have to play video games with losers. So.
Do you want me to play video games with you? I'll play video games with you.
That is awesome.
That's playing video games with a loser who's then paying you to play the video game with the loser. So I'd be charged twice there. No.
What do you think, Mark? You're the finance man in the room.
Oh Lord.
No. They paid Harbaugh $7 million a year. We do not want something from Michigan deciding what good compensation is.
He's the finance. He knows all about the markets.
Okay.
That's his thing.
I think. Can we do it in Bitcoin?
We could.
We have one Bitcoin ATM in all of East Lansing. I have no clue how Bitcoin works.
She's too smart for that.
I think it should be done per impression, like per something she does. We can figure it out later. Like per post.
So should we start with a minimum of $50 a month?
Yeah, if you're cheap.
You know the answer to that question.
She just laid out the Conrads and the Little Caesars.
We'll start there if you're cool with that.
Cottage Inn. No, it's not the same, but yeah. Cottage Inn and gas. Dave's going to do that. So
Dave's got the gas.
You need to get that.
Do you
figure
really
up
have the
a little
gas,
bit.
Dave? Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we've got $80 hard cash a month for you, and based on
here's the deal: I'm going to set you up with an office, an apartment, a credit card, all that shit. I can start you at $120,000.
See, that's how you negotiate, right there.
Wow. Okay, so we'll start you at $100 a month.
There you go. $70. $70 from us.
Sean, you may have just received a text from me that says you will be taking a reduction in pay forthwith.
Fine, take the $20 out.
So we'll give you $100 a month.
You know,
that's less sorbet and beef jerky for the boys.
Who made these deals?
Sorbet.
Isn't that what you got when you're out there hustling milk duds at the CVS?
It was, yeah.
Ice cream, was it? I thought it was
Sorbet.
ice cream. Was it sorbet?
I thought it was tofuti.
Milk
You
duds,
said
yeah.
Tofuti.
the least offensive confection.
Tofuti is the skinless, boneless chicken breast of ice cream.
That's right. It's made out of erasers from people who don't make mistakes. Okay, so because of the people on my side of the bargaining table, it'll be $100 a month. So let me just tell you, I'm glad you guys are not with me when we were negotiating for the newspaper.
It was $20.
We all would have been broke. Okay, so we got $70 from the show. We have more swag for you. We'll have a hockey jersey because those are still available, 20% off at JuneMikeStore.com. A couple other things, a long sleeve T-shirt, a very fashionable and attractive and comfortable product. I think we have one or two more things. We got to get you a trucker hat too. So we'll get one of those. $80 a month. Can we do this by Venmo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And no, we're doing $70 a month. Dave's doing
look how
30.
excited he is.
Hey!
He just realized he saved $10.
$10.
He saved $10. That's the most excited he's been all damn
Music
day.
to his ears.
I was waiting for, if we keep this up, we're going to drive.
Don't worry, we'll renegotiate next time I'm here.
Man, she's way better at this than you.
Okay. I guess we're going to have to go with that chess team kid for the second sponsorship. Okay, so the princely sum of $100 a month swag, but we are going to expect you to listen to the show because that download every week will double our audience, and of course we'll want you to promote us on Instagram, any of your social media platforms. Occasionally, favor us with some brand management, the flashing the gear out there. And I think we could probably, with games, if you are available for games, we could probably do some joint appearances. And that doesn't mean we'll be selling any products made with marijuana, but we could do some sort of Detroit MSU rowing teams, and maybe you can bring some of your teammates out.
Oh, yeah. They're always down to go to a football game.
Okay. Well, on those occasions, we can bump it up to $110.
Sounds good.
Deal made.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
I briefly considered making people who negotiate against you from your side of the table our geek of the week.
I'm on her side. I'm on the side of college athletes.
Then it's my fault for not figuring out what the rules of the game were before we started. But I want to tell you, I can afford to give this money away because I saved a bundle by refinancing with Hall Financial.
Hey.
They helped me buy my 2 houses in East Lansing, which are basically estates, frankly, just off of Harrison. And the rent just went up, kids. Sorry about that. It's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. It has nothing to do with our recently failed negotiation with our new endorser, our influencer. But if you want to save money, call David Hall. Rates are still in the 2s. And a refi will save you every month because you'll pay a lower rate. But you'll also save some money when you refi because you get to skip a couple of payments. And then the savings just keeps on coming. So if you want to get started, click on our website, mlsolvedetroit.com, to get to their website, or call 248-308-5000. That's 248-308-5000. Ask for Dan Morrison, Mr. James Bentley. You can just say, hey, James, is Dan there? And whenever you get on the end of the phone, you tell them that your old pal ML sent you. And MLS for Spartan, 146-7435. We're working all the sponsorships in here. So our Geek of the Week, quite simply, is candidates who don't follow the rules. Candidates in my district and throughout the city of Detroit have been putting lawn signs everywhere, on the medians, on corners. The rule is you can only put a lawn sign in the lawn, not that strip along the street, not a public way. It has to be on the lawn of someone who has agreed to put that lawn sign in their lawn. And the problem with this is not only are they unsightly, not only they are a pain in the ass for street reps like me who really should be out there pulling those signs out of the median but are afraid to get caught on camera and having people say, there's ML pulling other people's lawn signs out. They stay up there forever because there are people who pay people to put these lawn signs wherever. They just litter the landscape.
Plausible deniability.
And
they didn't
after
do it.
the race, they don't take them down. So those of you littering our streets, creating the false sense that you have massive support when really all you're doing is creating more blight in a city where we are trying to eliminate blight, you are my Geek of the Week. And on August 4th, you better start taking that shit down. Last night we had a fundraiser. The Cadre Cafe was outstanding. The King's English played. It was my first time seeing World War IV live, which was the single and the video they debuted on this show. But as you may know, the guys in the King's English are also in Shasta Fox. And our friend Mark Kurlianchik cut this promotional video for them, which we are going to show you right now.
Are we showing it because your signage is in the back?
This is outrageous. People think that I am some sort of diabolical subliminal advertiser. No, this is a beautiful video.
It is a beautiful video.
Of some very talented gentlemen performing. Max Prokop, who wrote our specially commissioned...
Oh, wow, look at that giant ML Elric sign. Sean.
What is that doing there?
Pretty cool, huh?
That is that guy is everywhere. Solving
I hope
people's
he takes
problems.
that sign down when he's done with it.
You can count on that. It cost $150. What's... Oh, yeah, look at that. So you can follow Shasta Fox on Facebook.com, Shasta Fox Band. And if you follow him, let him know you heard about him on the Soul of Detroit.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
So the other reason we brought Kalina into the Soul of Detroit family is because I said, Kalina, what do you think about new wave music? And she said, new wave music?
Never heard of it.
That tells me you're real old. And I said, I guess...
Kalina, do you know what new wave
stuck
music
with
is?
Kalina.
Only because I listen to this podcast.
Okay.
So
educating the people.
So you don't.
Yeah, no.
Educating the people.
Do you like it?
It's fine. It's definitely like what my parents listen to, like when we're driving really far and like we lost radio signal. But you know, it's okay.
He's so defeated. I love having you here because you've defeated him so many times.
This research department
Just
sucks,
shots across
man.
the bow. I love it.
There's a whole section of my research report that was apparently deleted before it was sent to me on Kalina, but that's fine.
What do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of like indie pop music, whatever my coach puts on at practice. I mean, just a little bit of everything.
All right. But not new wave.
That's the new wave of today, indie pop music.
Whatever makes you feel better.
That's all new wave music was, independent pop music that was cooler than most other pop music. So Sean was concerned that we did not have enough American new wave bands.
I was.
You expressed that. I think it can be demonstrated by a review of previous shows, which we encourage you to do at mlsoulofdetroit.com or wherever you get your podcast. So we're going to give you one of the great bands from LA, X, with Burning House of Love. Will that be sufficient?
Yes.
Won't you ride by my house late at night? You can see from the freeway above. No silhouette but a light left on. Burning there for love. Burning there for love. Smoke is rising from the back, coming out my back door. I'm inside, sound asleep, a cigarette on the floor. Burning there for love. Burning there for love. Well, I can still remember a couple of years ago when the smoke and flame from my name was a burning house of love. Yeah, burning house of love. A burning house of love. Burning house of love. Burning house of love. years ago, when the smoke and flame from our land was a burning house of love. Yeah, burning house of love. A burning house of love. The rusty nail over our front door is where I hung our tears in the rain. I threw that horseshoe into the weeds. I see what love can bring. I see what love can bring. Now you're in your bed, I'm in mine. On either side of town, I think I might take a ride and burn your love house down like a burning house of love. Burning house of love. I can still remember a couple of years ago when the smoke and flame from our name was a burning house of love. Yeah, burning house of love. A burning house of love. Burning house of love. Burning house of love. Burning house of
Well, I can still remember a couple of years ago when the smoke and flame called my name. It was a burning house of love. Sean, you can't possibly object.
Oh, I like the band, you know.
Is that new wave?
So in the rundown, it says, the smart money says Sean is going to raise a specific objection to this selection. And we were not even through the first verse, and he's like, it's more punk. I knew exactly.
No, not this song. That song. That's not really a punk song. It's kind of new wavy.
It's more rock and roll.
But they started out as sort of a punk band, right?
Right,
So
right.
that's
They're
all
from
I
the
was
LA
saying.
punk scene. They do have a very hard rock edge, but I would tell you so does The Cult, which is definitely a new wave band. And so you can have these crunching guitars, you can have these soaring lyrics in new wave. It doesn't have to be synth. And this band has the greatest name lineup. John Doe, lead singer and bass. XN Cervenka,
Yep.
the lead singer and ex-wife of John Doe. DJ Bonebreak is the drummer, and Billy Zoom is the guitar player, who has kind of a...
Not Zoos?
There's only one Zeus. Only one Zeus. But
Kalina, did you like it?
It was all right.
Speak the truth, please.
All right.
Well,
$90 a month.
Like I
Say what
said,
you're
it
gonna say.
sounds like something you'd hear at a pub in the middle of the day when there's that one man
In
just
the
kind of sitting
middle
there.
of the day.
And that one man
awesome.
is ML Elrich.
Probably.
Drowning in his sorrows.
He would never pay for a beer. What are you talking about?
I'm that lonely stripper on a Wednesday afternoon working the pole. But no, the guitars on this are just unbelievable. The ringing of those guitars, it's almost like angels singing.
Yeah, that's what it's like. What's the next feature of the show?
Someone's in a hurry.
How to donate. We have some very generous donors. Our steady supporters checked in. Kristen, William, and Frank, thank you very much. Frank's contribution comes with this comment. I would be amused if you used my donation to construct a cardboard sign in honor of Woody telling me about the Tour de France and use it to knock Mark Fellhauer off his tricycle.
What?
Or falling chair.
Bring it.
Nasdrovia. So, Mark, how can people who are perhaps a little more copacetic than our friend Francis give to the show?
MLSoloDetroit.com. There's a little donate button. Takes you right to PayPal.
There's no limit on unlike my campaign, there's not a limit. You can donate up to $2,100.
And apparently we're going to have a $70 shortfall every month.
Yes, but we need to restock the coffers to keep this kid in tacos. So please go and give generously, give often, whatever you got, we'll take it. I think there was some mention earlier in the show of merchandise. We're going to rip right through that. We would appreciate if you'd subscribe, share, rate, and love the show. Some feedback. We're catching up on some feedback from last week. Amber wrote, wondering if your basement flooded again. Yes. Who do you blame for round 2? The water system.
Do you really? You blame Gliwa?
I was willing to wait for the outcome of their investigation, but after reading Beth LeBlanc's piece saying that these pumps were not reliable, that they knew they weren't reliable, that they didn't have backup, there is now no other conclusion a reasonable person can reach other than Gliwa is responsible for this. Please sign my petition at change.org. Detroit, stop Detroit flooding. It's time for action. Has there been any word on what the average FEMA assistance check to homeowners could be? We don't know, but Mark had his own experience, which fills my heart with terror.
Why? Because it was so much less than what I lost?
It was
like 2014?
It was less than 15%, right? You justified...
About $16,000 is what it cost in damages, and I think we got $2,500 from FEMA.
Yeah.
But honestly, at that point, it's like, I'll take any dollar.
Sure. And what we're hearing is that FEMA will only compensate you for the necessary things like your furnace
power,
and a hot water tank, but it won't pay you for your washer and dryer because they consider those things to be non-essential.
Hilarious, yeah.
Now, if you've been wearing Sean's T-shirt for the last year and a half without washing it, I think we would think that a washer would be essential.
Apparently, you just wash in the bathtub and hang it up outside.
Oh, well, I guess that's an
soap
option.
is soap.
Soap. Right.
There
you go.
Such wisdom from Sean.
Yes.
Soap is soap.
Can you speak to
you
the U of
you wash it.
Can you speak to the U of M Innovation Center not happening? Yes. I always thought that Gilbert deal was just some sort of hornswoggle to try and get.
I thought this was feedback.
Jail.
Well, they did ask that, yeah. So you don't think that's ever going to happen anywhere in the city? Because it's not going to happen on the boondoggle, the old jail site.
Yeah, I don't know that it's not going to happen. I'm just saying that I've never believed that they were going to build that soccer stadium they said they were going to build when they got that land from the county. So
that was a total bait and switch.
Now, I will say that the renderings of the U of M Innovation Center looked super cool, and that would be a hell of a gateway project.
Nothing turns into a rendering.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, look at the evolution of the big tower.
The Hudson building, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that thing's shrinking and whatever, but it seems all these big downtown projects never materialize. I wouldn't say that's true, but it's sad that the Detroit News, Freep, and Cranes hype all the development BS, which turns out to be fake most of the time. I don't think that's true either. I think they report it when it's announced, but then they stay on top of it, and they try and keep us up to date on what's going on. Seems to be a shortage of skepticism in our newsrooms. Well, Amber, I think there's something to be said there. And she says it seems like there's more development in East Lansing than in Detroit in the last 5 years. Let me just tell you, someone who's been knocking on doors since January, I've knocked on over 1,000 doors, been in every precinct in the district, in every neighborhood in the district. There's a lot of development going on in Detroit. It's just not all on the front page.
1,000 doors? Kalina, will you pat him on the back for that?
I don't need to fill his ego anymore.
More than 1,000 doors.
Oh.
Sorry.
Kyle cogitates. I greatly enjoyed Woody as a guest. I think we all agree. I thought I was the only one who enjoyed bike riding. Other Red Shovel shows need to be more senior, and I'm not sure what he meant there. The cycling enthusiasts who turn in. I think he means more sensitive or more attuned to, whatever. Anyways, yes, good stuff. So, Pat, last week I called him Phil. Sorry, not Pat. From Plymouth rejoins. Hi, guys. Just want to drop a note to say how much I enjoyed the July 13th. You had a good float. Wait, so that's what he said last week. This week he said, I was only kidding. And by the way, I'm not Phil. I'm Pat.
He was only kidding?
So, of course, it didn't make sense.
I thought he liked the MLS show. MLS show. Less.
1467435. Yes. No. I knew that was a ridiculous statement to be discounted immediately. Thank you, Pat.
Not Phil.
Crazy campaign update. Do you guys want this crazy campaign, or should we get out?
There's more?
We teased it at the beginning of the show.
Oh, you mean because the whole show, except for getting to hear from Kalina.
All these doors he's not
David.
done, and the sign battle, and the event that he had.
We squeezed in a little rowing and some brisket burger.
Like 4 major
in this hour-and-a-half long campaign.
We can just skip it.
Stop.
Oh, no, you teased it very well at the top of the hour. Okay, go ahead. What happened? I'm dying to know.
Okay.
Pins and needles.
So I received
still on pins and needles.
A last-minute invitation to appear at at Perfecting Church, which is a large and very influential church on the east side. Pastor Marvin Winans has a couple of performing arts academies in the city, which are quite nice schools. In fact, there's one on our side of town that basically saved a neighborhood.
Edge of my seat.
Becoming blight. So when you go to these things, it's not always like at Greater Burnett where you get to speak. Sometimes you're just acknowledged by the pastor. So everybody's in their cars in the parking lot because they're not back in the sanctuary. And so it's a great service.
How many more sows
And then
are in this story?
Why don't you sew some buttons on your underwear? As my friend Anne-Marie Timmons used to say in New Hampshire. So there's one more. Where's the ding? But anyway, I'm walking in front of the congregation in front of the stage. And the Winans, Winans are Grammy-winning performers. So Pastor Marvin Winans is no slouch. I get to the other end of the stage, just kind of walk, do the royal wave, and I'm standing next to the stage, just enjoying the service, and a guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, how's it going?" I say, "Hey, good, good to see you. Thanks for coming out." He says, "You don't recognize me."
Uh-oh.
And I'm standing side by side. Usually when that happens, it's because I've done a story that someone was in a long time ago, or
you think their name's Phil, and it's
or
really
that I was
Pat.
chasing them and they're mad and want to even it up. So I turn and I face this person, and do you know who it was?
Somebody who was cogitating.
Somebody you should have known. Someone who was
Bobby Wesley Ferguson.
Really?
It was Bobby Ferguson.
No shit.
So I hugged him. He's lost 45 pounds.
Well, that's
looks like
why
$1
you didn't
million
recognize
bucks.
him.
And and he's,
So when's he coming on the show?
we didn't. He has an open invitation to get on the show. We invited, and Daniel Ferguson, his cousin, has an open invitation to come back on the show. So we're waiting for them to take us up on that offer. But
Was it awkward running into him?
no, in fact, I right away I hugged him as soon as I recognized him because, Bobby had some problems. He did some things that I think that we don't think were good. But I always got along with Bobby, and he's been freed, and he paid some of the price for what he did, and so it was just kind of nice to see him.
When did you run into him?
This was Sunday.
Sunday. Did he he wasn't at Kwame's wedding the day before?
He tells me he was.
He was?
Yep.
Okay.
And to all of you who asked on
So there's-
social media, I was not invited. So
Would you have gone?
no, we're looking ahead. We want everybody to live their lives, and we want to be focused on where we're going. But yeah, it was great to see Bobby.
Hence the nuptials. He's moving on.
Nuptials, I think so. Nuptials? Nuptials? Whatever. Anyways, so if you want to find out what other crazy things are happening to me on the campaign trail, follow me at ML4 Detroit on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find out about podcast news at Elric on Twitter, ML no periods, Elric on Facebook and Instagram. I think it's ML_Elric. Or you can follow Kalina Nies on Instagram at
KaleeKniess, Callie Niece.
and we will have a link to that on our website. Do you do Facebook or Twitter?
A little bit. I'm more on Facebook than I am on Twitter.
TikTok?
Pretty much what
Oh,
we
yeah.
do.
I love TikTok. TikTok is just fun.
Can you do any TikTok stuff for us?
Oh, no. I can't do dances. Are you kidding me?
Is Snapchat old now?
I don't, no one really posts on it to, share. It's, more like a friend thing. It's almost like a texting app than
Yeah.
anything.
That's interesting. But you're still on Facebook. That's weird.
Yeah.
Thought that's for us old people.
Well, there's a lot of Facebook groups. That's how everyone does everything now. So if I'd have a Facebook group for Greek life, I have a Facebook group for my rowing team. Everything's got.
But it's all
Facebook group.
TikTok, Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, there's a lot for us old guys to learn.
ML, do you even know what TikTok is?
It's what my watch says.
That's why I watch roller skating videos.
Okay, that's a completely random and bizarre statement.
I roller skated a lot as a kid, and there's a lot of great roller skating videos out there.
I thought you
I've
stole.
never seen them on TikTok before.
I thought you stole mopeds in Saigon.
would
You're
love
on
to
roller
see-
skates too?
I would love to see the Sean
There's
Windsor
a whole
algorithm of what
sort
he looks at.
sub industry out there of. There's actually a great rink in Detroit, and they make videos all the time. They have their own page, and it's great.
Just across from
It's
Southfield.
fabulous. They put it to music, and it's great.
Is that the one that's just across from Southfield?
It's
down
like
by
watching.
Telegraph?
It's like watching dancing. Pardon me.
Is that the one on that's just across from Southfield?
Yeah, I can't remember the address.
Yeah, but it's on that side of town.
And there's one on the east side too.
There's one
that I've
not
been-
far from my house, Skateland, that
That's it.
People that a lot of people are afraid to go there. I went there for my friend's 11th birthday party, and a white kid pushed me and called me a honky. We're the only white kids there. Me, this little birthday party, and this other kid, who may, for all I know, have been Richard Wershey at the time. But that place has a tough reputation. Yeah. It's never open except for like 2 a.m. on Sunday. It's a crazy phenomenon. Anyway, so Sean, what are you up to?
Watching skating videos on TikTok.
No, the NBA draft, right, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely.
The Pistons have the number 1 pick.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Lots of Piston coverage and going to Vegas for summer ball and next week or the weekend after. I can't remember.
You had an
It'd
Olympic
be great
basketball.
if it was next week, so I didn't have to be here.
You had an Olympic basketball column that ruffled some feathers too, which is interesting.
I did.
It was good.
It was terrible.
Oh, damn it!
I don't know why Mike's talking about it.
So your feedback said.
Yes.
It became very political.
It did. It did. I wrote a column about how many folks were happy that the Team USA men's basketball team lost the other day to France.
Right.
And because they don't like Greg Popovich's politics, because they feel like some of the players are ungrateful or not American enough. You know what? It's all coded stuff, and so. But some of the comments and stories I saw, they were like, I hope they keep losing. You know?
Well, I'm just glad that you wrote about something other than Michigan State women's rowing for a change.
Wow. No one ever writes about Michigan State's women's rowing.
I think that's about
Maybe I should.
Now that you shame him, now you're trying to get out of the show. Okay.
Well, he's always for the underdogs, but I have not seen any Michigan State's women rowing articles under
Didn't you
Sean's
say that was
byline.
akin to golf? Didn't we establish that earlier? How can it be an underdog
That's
if
what
you're,
you
if you're that
chauvinists
elite?
said.
No. That's what Mark was trying to say.
Is it an expensive sport?
Yeah. I mean, shells are upwards of $100,000-$200,000.
Is that a boat?
Yeah. So
you got to have your own lake.
Yeah. So and then you got to have a boathouse to store all these boats.
Wait, you don't call it a shell house?
No, it's a boathouse.
Have you rowed down on the Detroit River out of that
I have
that club
not.
down there?
A lot of the Wyandotte Boat Club. A lot of the girls on my team are from there, and one of my coaches used to coach there.
Yeah, the place off Belle Isle is a great old boathouse. It's really cool.
I went there before it got closed down, and it was amazing. We used to play there in the jazz band. It is a spectacular
It's
place
incredible.
that hopefully is starting to come back. But there's a big
It's
learn to
incredible.
row program for adults, and there are a lot of women over 40 who are joining these rowing leagues where they learn how to row, and it's become a huge social thing. It really is a sport that has a surprisingly expanding and diehard following.
Yeah, I did a story about that probably 7-8 years ago, and went out at the
I told
crack.
you did a women's rowing
The
story.
crack of dawn, and Mandy Wright was out there, who's one of our photographers, who's over in Tokyo right now covering the Olympics. But she was out taking these just gorgeous pictures, and so I went out and rowed around, and didn't really row so much as it's because I had a notepad and tried not to fall in the water. But it was really cool.
Bit of a coxswain.
Oh, there's that joke again.
Oh my God.
How tiring of a joke
It's
is
the
that?
guy who sits on the end of the boat and watches.
How tiring is
That's
that joke?
what you should
I
do
took
as a
notes.
observer.
I
Oh, you
took notes.
Okay.
Thank God I'm not a coxswain, but they have a hard job. Coxswain.
Okay. Well, we're not going to touch that.
Yeah, they have to steer the boat. They have to tell us what to do. They come up with our race plan. If I didn't have a coxswain, I wouldn't finish half my races.
Yeah, so there. It's not just a funny word.
It's serious
there a limit on
business.
that?
It is a funny word, though.
Do you have to?
It's not just a funny word.
Do you have to be a certain size and weight?
Oh, yeah. You have to be... most coxswains are around 110 pounds.
Okay.
So our coxswain was underweight. She got sandbagged at Big Ten. So if you're not at least 110 pounds, they fill up a bag with sand.
Like a jockey.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can have the parting word. Is there anything else you want to rag on ML for?
Nah, I feel like I kind of dug his grave today.
Yeah, and I had to pay the undertaker on top of it.
Will you come back and put the dirt in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
We may reopen the competition here. Next week, special week. It's election day in Detroit. These are nonpartisan elections, so the top 2 finishers will advance to the general election. Obviously, I hope to continue my candidacy beyond next Tuesday, so I will not be here in the host chair, but I will aspire to call in as Sean Windsor, and the superlative, the distinctive, the one and only O Street. You may remember her column from the Detroit Free Press. You may have seen her doing many of her entrepreneurial things like Detroiter from Detroit, Detroiter from the suburbs, Detroit T-shirts and stuff. She is quite the Renaissance woman. Onita Jackson is supposed to be here to co-host with Sean. And I know that Sean and I occasionally engage in some robust banter. That ain't nothing compared to what happens when Sean parks on O Street next week. I wish.
We'll see.
I could listen to the whole show as it happens.
We'll see. And if we have to cancel, you can get that out on your Twitter feed?
No, you're locked in.
Okay. What?
Or Facebook?
You're locked in.
Or your TikTok.
The minute you bit
roller skating feed.
that burger, that was an oral contract.
Really?
So
okay.
Okay.
On that
or it could be next week, Joey Zuver's. It could be the Joe and O show. What about that?
Or you could give your employees a week off for the first time in a year.
You're more of an independent contractor. Actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think you could get.
Why do you make me call you sir then?
Full-timer.
Why do you make me call
so
you
many
sir?
rules? Yeah.
It's supposed to be your lordship. I think we negotiated, sir. Once again, Mark did not help me in that negotiation.
You're welcome.
So, yes, thank you very much. So, anyways, I think that's all we got. We will be back next week, or some of us will be. And if the election doesn't go well, this will become a daily podcast. Just live streaming, stream of consciousness. But until then, we ask the only person who could possibly take us out, that would be our friend Cyrus, to do so immediately.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Don't worry. I'm not going to do what you all think I'm going to do, which is just flip out. Who's coming with me? Who is coming with me?
I will go with you.
Kalina Niece.
Thank you.
With my love open the door.
We're going to be okay because I am going to take my one client and we are going to go all the way. Help me.
Kalina.
Help me help you. Help me help you.
You are hanging on by a very thin thread. And I dig that about you.
You want to go out to dinner?
Some dudes might have the coin, but they'll never have the quan.
Quan?
It means love.